Miami front center. They're playing better. They got a new quarterback in play. They've beaten a couple of really good teams in Pitt and NC State. Then they got by Georgia Tech. So they're certainly far from invincible, but at the same time, they look like a better football team. So what's the formula for a win for Florida State?
It's not as hard as you think. Miami is much improved. Then again, when you talk about talent, King is good, right? But the way they've played with Van Dyke is exciting. If Van Dyke pushes the ball down the field, right? So how does Florida State on defense? You gotta make Van Dyke make the short throws. You can't let him take your top off. You've got to be you can't have busted coverage like you've been given one or two times a game. Van Dyke can hurt you with that, and you've got to be able to take away the running game with this kid Jalen Knighton. Jalen Knighton is really really good. That was the piece that hurt when he decommitted. That was like my favorite running back in that class. He was really really good. Had a great relationship with Coach Dante Pimpleton. That just, unfortunately is part of UMass right now. That just got let go, but you know again, like a lot of my stuff with Tag, man, we should have been firing him, no doubt, this year. This is probably should have been, but we would have Jalen Knighton on our roster. We would have a lot of other guys that would be on our roster that would be that would give more talent to somebody. But that's neither here nor there. But you stop those guys, and what you have to do is their secondary is still depleted. They just had another guy. They had Gervin Hall opt out for the rest of the season or into the transfer portal, and their inside linebackers aren't really that. They're not inside. Their linebackers in general aren't that great. They had a guy, their starting linebacker, a couple weeks ago, and granted, and Miami fans don't kill me. I only know about this because I'm really good friends with Bradley Jennings Sr. And Bradley Jennings Jr. was on your team, and he's entered the portal. But this stat astounded me. A guy had 60 snaps at inside linebacker and only had 3 tackles. That should be impossible. Like that's not optimal. Your starting inside linebacker should be getting 10 to 15 tackles at minimum a game. So where's Florida State better at? With Jordan Travis, you've got to be disciplined on your defense. And if your linebacker shifts, they're gonna hand that ball off. And Trayshawn and Jayshawn are very, very good at finding gaps and getting to the second level. They've got to be able to do that and win time of possession to keep the defense off the field. And turnovers. This game will come. Traditionally, the Florida State Miami game comes down to who has the most rushing yards and who has the most turnovers. So if we have more rushing yards and we limit our turnovers and keep our time of possession up, Florida State should be able to walk out with a victory. That's what should be able to. Florida State that played North Carolina beats Miami convincingly. Florida State that played against last week against North Carolina State, they don't beat anybody left on this roster. And that's just the truth. Defensively, we were good. Offensively, we were lacking, and that's just the truth. But these guys got to believe. They got to want it. And as I joke now, the only thing they could do is play for per diem. You win 3 games, you go to a bowl game, you get about $1,500 to $2,000 a little extra in your pocket, plus some gifts. That's fun. You lose, and you're out. And unfortunately, the way our society is built now, it's playoffs or bust. When it's only 4 teams that are going to get in that, and really, there's really only one team that we all kind of have an idea that's going to probably win it. And we're not that good. We're nowhere near the same level as Georgia, nor are we the same level as Alabama. But I will say this: if they can win these 3 games, I will believe everything about player buy-in and liking Mike Norvell. And not liking, loving Mike Norvell, because that's what you're playing for right now. You win these 3 games, Mike Norvell, you can't put him on a hot seat. You lose these next 3 games, your coach is on the hot seat. I don't care what you want to say. There's nothing tangible that you can show that nothing measurable that you can show that says that we're in a better position than we were before. The only thing we have to show for is tap budgets and no football only facility right now. But if you love your coach, you play for your coach. You play with your heart. It ain't a bunch of quotes. You can see it. Like And you don't just see it and say, "Oh, that team they didn't give up." That's the minimum. You see it in wins and losses. We love Bobby. That's why we didn't lose a lot of games. I can't. That's all I can speak on. But I think that's how they got to get it. And it's not a, they must get it done. Or and it's crazy. And this is the game to do it too. So like I was joking with somebody. I said I scored a touchdown in the Miami Florida State game. The only offensive touchdown we scored at Florida State. Ran over Leon Williams in the end zone. And people still talk about that some 16 odd years ago. I'm eating off of one play for 16 years. Like that is a hell of fun. I don't think I've made another play in my career that anybody really focuses on more. So this is why you go to these games, these schools, to play in this game, for these moments. And if you don't, and you can't make up for it, congratulations, you'll be another person that played at Florida State that nobody remembers in 10 years.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. This is the game that makes legacies, legends, and GOATs at the same time. We know that, especially at the kicker position through the years.
Yeah.